Mr. Avik Mitra is from the Quality Council of India, a man who's committed beyond duty. He is one of the participants because he is the kind who is a knowledge seeker, has done enormous amount of work, and we will give you a full write-up on Mr. Mitra, and briefly he was introduced. Mr. Chandrasekhar has the distinction of doing the first ISO 9000 in the Government of India, and that was with the National Authority and in the Cabinet Secretariat. Cabinet Secretary, when we went and said we want to do ISO 9000, the Cabinet Secretary said, what is ISO 9000 and why do you want to do it? What's the problem? And he will tell you what is the reason, rationale for doing ISO 9000. Mr. Avik Mitra will tell you how we got 80 departments to do ISO 9000. We hope that soon we will have a government which is ISO 9000 compliant. ISO 9000 is not rocket science. It simply says, to put it simply, that you please document what you say you do. And then you stick to that. That's number one. It doesn't say you become efficient, everything overnight. First thing is, you say this is my process. Please document your standard operating procedure. Is it documented somewhere? And then we will audit to see if you are following it, and then we will give you the certificate that at least you follow the procedure you think you have. That's it. So it's not very difficult to get the first time. But sustaining it and improving your procedures, following Six Sigma and all the kinds of things is tough. But the starting point is itself a huge. In government, the procedures are not recorded. You may say, well, we have an official procedures. That's a separate procedure. I do two things. Performance management. It has never been done in the history of the country. Where are those procedures? How do we do the meetings? How do we do RFD? How do we do? It's not recorded. It wasn't part of our constitution. It's all new. This has to be recorded, that how do we, once I'm gone, the memory will be gone. So another question of sustainability is recording it and having an ISO 9000. Then anybody who comes will know that this was the procedure followed by the previous management. And that is the big, big achievement that we have. We are going to give you our ISO 9000 action plan for performance management divisions for two reasons. First, to give you an idea of what ISO 9000 is, because we are getting it. Second, you will also know all our internal procedures also, that how do we do these things? What is the standard operating procedure for holding a meeting, for evaluation, midterm, all kinds of things that we do. You will have the document with you. No state secrets, I'm told, will be revealed, because it's all in the open field. How would you like to sequence? We should start with Mr. Chandrasekhar. He will give you a brief idea of the strength of ISO, what it is, and then move on to Mr. Avik Mitra.
This is the case study that what we have done at NACWC. So we will be talking about that. This is National Authority on Chemical Weapons Convention. I would be briefly touching about what is this ISO 9001. This is 2008 version standard and a certificate that has been awarded to NACWC. Then what were the objectives at the National Authority in India? Then the specific gains that the National Authority has got it from implementation of ISO 9001. Then the certification process, the timelines that what we have implemented at National Authority, then the guidelines for preparing the action plan, and the scheduled tasks in the government departments will be covered by Mr. Avik Mitra. So ISO 9001, I think most of you might have heard, because there are 160 countries are the members to that. Is that all the countries are members to that? So what is ISO? The name of the body? Anyone? International? I think you raise your level now. That's not the full form of ISO. Anybody else? Yeah. You are members. We are all members. Even India is also a member country to this body. It is International Organization for Standardization. So the basic idea of this organization is to bring standardization in processes. Basically here now we are also talking about certain management systems and management processes. Raising the bar from an individual based organization to a system based organization or a department. So that's the basic idea of the international organization. So this has developed a standard, the number of that is called ISO 9001. The title is it is quality management systems requirements. So it has specified certain requirements for any department or an organization to implement that in order to improve its processes. So the specified requirements is basically to ability to consistently provide that whatever is required for the citizens, the customers, which could be an internal customer or an external customer to the organization, then enhance the service recipient satisfaction. Basically, you could also see the service, how the satisfaction of the members, etc. So these are the two prime specific ideas of the standard. Then what is the impact of the standard? If you look at this, here there is a management coordination taking place. The tasks are delivered through, by whom? Who is the center there? It is the manager or the leader or the responsibility center head is the person who is responsible for coordinating and then see that they are being discharged. But now that way you will be able to handle only one or two tasks, not many. But once it grows to a next level, what happens? There is an interpersonal, the transactions they are taking place. So now the transactions are among many members in the team. But when it goes to a next level, that's where a process would be defined. That's there in the center. The process is defined. Now everyone is working with the process. So the coordination is here is done by the process, not by that individual. And there at the end, what happens is, it's the process that is managing all the tasks and activities, where the members are a team, is a part of that process, and the leader is now doing the empowering process. So whoever is the head of that department, he could be moving aside. If something is routine, if it has been handled once, he need not to spend time, because that kind of thought process is already been put into a process level documentation. All that simply everybody has to follow the documentation. So the approach that we have done at NACWC, we have not simply just put the quality management systems ISO 9001, we have also put certain systems towards Six Sigma levels, where in the processes the defects are at the minimum level. That is, it has to be less than 3.6 defects in 1 million opportunities. This is the sample certificate that has been awarded to the NACWC. This has been awarded by a certification body. This is a French body. And then Chemical Weapons Convention is one of the authority is in India. This is a part of international protocol. I think sir would be explaining in his concluding remarks about the NACWC. So the specific objectives that...
In fact, all countries represented have a national authority for chemical weapons. 188 countries are members of the Chemical Weapons Convention, and almost all of you here are members of the chemical weapon, and they are required by that convention to have a national authority. But it's the only national authority of the 188 which has an ISO 9000 certification. That's the important.
And we went to Hague, that is the international headquarters at OPCW, and we made a presentation of this certificate, this certificate in that conference. And it was awarded to the chairman of the OPCW, and then their team has visited India to study the systems in India, how the Chemical Weapons Convention Authority in India is implementing the ISO 9000 systems. So this is about it. So the specific objectives, etc., basically it is to, one is to define the processes in the national authority, which includes to meet all the protocols or the requirements that as a national authority, what it is supposed to meet. The internal customers are being identified, and then external customers, the interfaces, the tasks that they do, coordinate the training programs, then visits by the international teams to the local government or in the Indian industries. So all these are being documented as a part of the process. So one is establish the processes, meeting the best management practices, then enhance the consistency that meets the requirements with the agreed interested parties, then basis for ensuring the confidentiality of information. Because in the national authority, there is also confidentiality that is to be, public interface in the national authority, sir will address that, because I provided the consultancy for implementing that.
You asked that we don't have a public interface. I'm responding 600 factories, and I'm ashamed to say that interface we have not documented that interface, and that is where the failure has taken place recently. Some of the inspectors from other departments who go with us have behaved in a way which was not documented. So we have focused on the internal processes of the national authority. We did not. We have an extensive interface. So it's not true that it doesn't have. In fact, we need to worry much more. These people go and they are bringing international inspector Raj, because the inspectors from other countries are coming. So if anything, this is the biggest interface compared to many central government. It's a small authority.
I'll continue with that. So then, to align the national authority with the objects and purpose of the Chemical Weapons Convention throughout the world, then establish the self-enhancing mechanisms ensuring the sustainability. Okay, I think this is somewhere in between. Okay. Then the implementation process from Quality Council of India, a consultant, that's me, I've been associated with that. Then a person at a joint secretary level has been appointed as a management representative. Then defining the scope of the work. What is the scope? Scope is covering all the aspects that are activities performed under the national authority are being covered. Then a quality policy has been developed. Policy basically defines the direction to the members of the organization, and also it's a public document. A policy is a public document that states the statement of intention, what as an authority we would like to do it to you. It's an expression of the statement of intention. Then the system to outline and maintain the quality, then define the quality manual, then the detailed procedures, then an implementation of a self-audit, that is an internal audit, the way an audit has been described by him. The system also has got an internal audit in that. Sir, how to stop this? Is it okay? Okay, that's right. Right. Okay. So this is the policy, the quality policy at NACWC. At an organizational level, for ensuring quality in every activity that the organization does, they have to define that policy. The policy provides basically the direction, that in what direction every activity has to be moving in towards that. Let me illustrate that direction. How does quality policy help the organizational members to perform their tasks? So for that, I would request you, all of you, to be with me and simply do one activity based. Okay, so I'll be asking you. Uska time? That's it. Okay, so take it. Fine. So that basically it's for the providing the direction and also the support to the members who are implementing that. So it's for continual improvement and continue to maintain the status of chemical weapons in the country. So this is based on the quality management systems, information security, Six Sigma. Then specific gains, it has identified the processes and effective and efficient implementation, documented process, procedures, then the process improvements leading to better service quality, process effectiveness criteria, then different review mechanisms have been created, then a self-audit to understand, to identify what are the gaps, then taking actions, then there are certain scheduled tasks, then improvements in terms of taking corrective actions, preventive actions, the metrics, time, quality, quantity, then alignment of the organization, all the members towards policy and objectives, then control of external and internal documents, because there are many documents that comes from where there is an interface with the external world. So these are going to speedy retrieval of records. So the record system is now, it has come to a level of at least within 1 minute they are able to retrieve the records and then show it to the organizational members. Then competency enhancement of the members, right? Then clarity of the roles and responsibilities, etc. So these are all various. We would be also giving you this presentation. You can go through different. I think I now request Mr. Mitra to come out and then look at. So okay, you can look at, this is the process. The timelines we have taken around 18 weeks to complete the implementation of that.